Coming to YC, right? I think one of the questions I frequently get from a lot of founders who are just starting up is, hey, should I apply for YC or not, right? I mean, it is obviously, I mean, everyone knows the value of it, but it also comes with kind of a, big dilution at a very early stages, especially in the context of a US India founder, right? It's an India based founder who's looking at US as a market. What is the kind of persona or space or context in general where you feel that, hey, you should actually apply to YC? You'll actually derive a lot of value out of YC.
Yeah, so I think for us, YC has been very helpful.
Yeah.
Maybe also because we are B2B SaaS dev tools with our primary market in the US. So it has been very helpful for us. I think generally it makes a lot of sense for B2B companies because generally you would have US as the main market because US is still the biggest economy in the world. And it helps, like YC brand is still quite recognizable in the US, right? So you have, like if you tell somebody that you are from YC, at least they will hear your 2-minute pitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So I think for B2B founders, it makes a lot of sense, especially if you are dev tools. I think it makes even more sense because YC has very high focus on technical people. So they sort of always recommend one person to be able to code.
Yep.
And just the quality of the community is very good, right? For example, in our case, if we have a technical question that, hey, like I want to do this, I post in the community, and like within a day or two, I have some of the best opinions in the world on how to do certain things, right? Of course, because of our domain, we generally have very technical questions because of the nature of the business that, hey, like how do I improve the perf of this data store, or how do I improve the perf of this API call which I'm making, right? So it makes a lot of sense for DevTools company. But in general, I think the good habits which YC inculcates in you is generally good, as like they are very simple startup advice and they ask you to follow it. And the very basic is like make something which people want, right? And the interesting thing about it is that it doesn't involve big teams. It doesn't involve having investors.
Correct.
It doesn't involve like being in 5 markets. It just says that he like build something which somebody actually cares about, right? And that's essentially the if you want to create anything of value, you have to generate value. I think that's like sort of the fundamental principle I always go to, that hey, if you want to build a company which is valuable, you need to create a lot more value in the world, and then you'll capture a percent of it, and that will give you value, right? And value is defined as, at least in terms of businesses, like what people, like if you are able to solve certain things which people want to do in a better way, help them make their life better. So in our case, value is that, hey, like if a problem happens in my production infra, how do I help people solve it faster? That's value. And being open source, you have to create much value and capture a much smaller part of it compared to a proprietary. But that's a different question. First question is that, hey, you have to create value.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a very basic thing which I think YC nails down into you. The second thing is like don't like overhire, don't raise too much. They're like basics.
Yeah.
Like don't spend more than what you like. Ultimately, as a business, you have to create profit. So have that in mind. So these are very basic things, but as founders, we always get sort of overwhelmed. But these people have seen so many stories, so many journeys, so they know where we can go wrong. So what our YC founder partners, for example, say is that at least if you make mistakes, at least if you fail in a new way, don't fail in the same 100 times way in which we have seen. That would look bad for them. So yeah, broadly, I recommend YC for everybody, especially for B2B companies. It's like it's no way. And I think in early stage dilution is like if you have to make a big company, the early stage dilution doesn't matter much.
Yeah.
The goal is to create something which is valuable